This is the Finesse Media Podcast.
And so it's just getting
Don't
into
wait a
that.
minute.
I mean,
Don't
right,
do that
exactly, right. She
vibrato
Just
just
like
cavalierly
that.
did
And
that and
then
dropped it
go
on us,
try
right,
to
Tree?
just what?
Did you hear
Don't
it, Tree?
do that
It's just
like
it's
that.
just
Did you
getting
hear?
into the feeling of missing someone
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not being able to talk to them because they're not here
Yeah.
anymore. And in the
Mm.
last two shows, I've had people like really just cry. And the first show that someone like was crying, I went up to them and I was like, I'm so sorry that I brought you here. And they were like, I haven't let myself cry. And so I'm just grateful that you were
Mm.
able to let me get there.
Create that space
And
too.
so again, if I
Yeah.
can help you get to a space where you're feeling something, because the problem, like you said, today's music is desensitizing people. Today's
Yeah.
social media is desensitizing people. I feel that we are
Yeah.
desensitized in so many ways that the one lesson that I remember and that I'm trying to remember to share is however I make you feel, I want to make you feel something. And if I don't make you feel something by the time I've shared my moment with you, then I haven't done something.
That's very important. That's very important, Orange, because I oftentimes say that people don't remember what you said to them. They remember how you made them feel, good or
Yeah.
bad, right? And so that's why
Yeah.
the first impression lasts forever. You can change it, but that impression in the beginning or in the middle and the end, but each encounter, each experience for you and another human typically, right, is measured by kind of that feeling and how that person left me feeling. And I think that's very key in all sorts of parts of business and keeping things like that. Yeah, yeah. I think that's very
Yeah.
important to listen to what people are saying and watching how they feel and how they make you feel. Speaking of listen, this little track you dropped last month, yo. So I was trying to figure out because I honest to goodness, full disclosure, I thought you were just a saxophonist. Then I saw, wait a minute, she dropped a single. Oh, let me go to iTunes and listen. Which you also
Yes.
have featured on the track, Key Minor, Donald Alfred II, and is it Amy AMI? I don't want to.
Ami Burton.
Ami.
Yep.
They put it, you guys kind of like wrap this whole song up and put a pretty nice little bow on it. I'm waiting for some visuals. I feel like you posted something or another standing in the middle of it, look like a desert on your page. I'm showing the photo now, but I am looking for some visuals for it. But moreover, what's out now is Listen. Talk to our viewers about this single.
Okay, so Listen was produced by my son, Key Minor, which I'm excited that I'm working with him because he's just a mind that is little by little, it's beautiful to see
Wait, Orange. Key
kind
Minor
of like,
is your son?
yes, Key Minor is
Shut
Uh-huh.
the
my son.
front door.
Yes.
Wowzers.
Yes.
Yes.
So I
Bombs
just
dropped.
seen
Wow.
that you all did a performance together. So I need some deets on that in a second.
Wow.
I
Yes.
need
So the
some
day
deets
that
on
Go,
Listen
that.
dropped,
mom. Go, mom.
yes, the day that Listen dropped,
DNA don't lie. I'm sorry. DNA don't lie. Dana don't
the
lie,
day
baby.
that
Dana don't
Listen
lie.
dropped, he and I did a mother-son performance, and it was sold out. We actually, yes, we actually
Yes.
said, okay, let's do something small where we have a living room performance, kind of like a living room performance where we just invite a set amount of people and let's see if we can sell it out in an amount of time. And we charge a pretty good penny, right? And we did. We sold it out, and people came just to support. He was turning 18 2 days after, so I believe that I know that people came to support him for his college, and to support that we were putting the song out, and to support that he was putting the song out with me, in
Yeah.
close proximity. So it was beautiful.
And that's a lot of
Shout out to
support.
my village because my village is exceptional. Thank you all for supporting. I do not take that for granted. Yes, so it features Key Minor, my son, which he also has produced several others. He's produced Home, check that one out. And he produced this one that's coming out, Want Me Back. So if you hear it says, welcome, Key Minor, like Keon, that's him.
Dope.
Donald Alford. So I met Donald on the Renaissance tour. He is the bass player on the Renaissance tour. He's from Chicago, so check him out. Yes.
Shout out to you,
He's
Donald.
dope. he's dope. He's an amazing player. His his style of bass playing is something different that I wanted to feature. And I said, I want to feature you. And he was like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna feature you on my song. And when he saw it, I was like, you
Nice.
actually put feature. And I was like, yeah, because when you hear the song from top to bottom, you hear that he evolves a thought, and the thought doesn't stay the same, and it changes. And that's the whole purpose of the song, that I would like to allow not only you to hear me as a vocalist, but an improvisation happening. So I like ratchet music, right? So if you hear, I don't know if you like 2 Chainz, but he has a song called
Of course.
he has a song called Fucking Right?
Yeah.
And there's a song in that song. If you hear the song there's a piano player like going off. It's like this jazz, like throughout the song in the back, you hear it's like weird like songs. So in my head, I've always wanted to have music that's soulful, but had like an improvisation happening throughout that the listener maybe is not just focused on that, but the listener is getting presented. They're getting pulled into a different arena of improvisation. It just happens that that instrument is not an instrument that you would think, like a saxophone or a violin or a piano. It just happens that every song in this next album will be a bass player playing a solo from top to bottom.
Oh,
Nice.
And this is on the upcoming EP.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
So
And let's
if you hear now, next time I want you to listen with that open ear of what's the bass player doing and how much is he doing and how it changes. Even at the end, boom, boom, but then boom, boom, boom. It's like he goes into a different motif, and I love that. I love how it just changes. Feels like it's going somewhere else. So then you want that deja vu to stay there, but it stops, and you're like, why didn't they groove in there for a little bit? So yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. And I love that when you can hear the artist give feedback from because I definitely got to go back to listen because I'm like, definitely didn't catch that. Didn't even hear that. I'm still shocked and paused that Key Minor is your son. Sorry, shout out to the kid. But I'm over here like, wait a minute. This whole band is an ensemble, and y'all sound good doing it for sure. And I want to keep things going because I know you got to get up out of here, and I want to keep you too long. But what I also do on my podcast each and every week on what I'm doing is searching through my guest Vanessa, which is you, social media page. And sometimes I'm pulling videos. If you catch a couple of my episodes prior, sometimes I'm pulling photos or maybe a status. But I found something on your social media page that I want you to elaborate on. Oh, yeah. See, we talking all this mommy stuff, Renaissance stuff. Let me ask you about this photo. And you tell my viewers what was all going on in this photo. You ready?
I'm a little scared.
Here we go. What was going on in this photo? What y'all was doing?
Go here to the
right and left.
So if you
the gospel legend himself. What you doing with Kirk Franklin?
That night was like that. So it was funny because that morning we had just gone to see.
He just is cheesing.
He's happy. That man
he's
is
definitely
happy.
fanning out, right? He's happy to see Orange Coffee for what I can see. So I don't know what was going on. You left the status.
I wasn't the only one that left with a picture like that. So that morning we went to see the Tyler Perry Studios, and he just happened to be on the phone with the head of the philanthropy department, which is Be Good. And he was like, if the band wants to come to the studio, they can come. And we just happened to be on speakerphone. And like, yeah, we gotta come to the studio. And he was like, come through. And we all went to the studio. And if you see during that, like that's on that same page, you see that we're all with him. He was so gracious. He opened the doors before we even heard. Before his album was out, he let us hear his whole album from top to bottom.
Wow.
Which artists don't normally do that because they're scared that somebody's gonna leak something. You don't want other people to copy stuff. And so we were really, really excited to just be in his presence. He's a smart man. He has been in this industry for so long. And so to hear his side of what he was going through, his documentary. It was right after his documentary came out. So just to hear all of that and be in his presence, to be in his studio, he kind of created not the same, but just like this. Prince had his own recording studio, his own little space. He has his own space like that, and it's pretty amazing to see. And so whenever our people are doing that, we have to big up. It doesn't matter, if you like him or not. Like the fact that he has a space that he can create music, that he can bring music, that he's brought gospel to a bigger space, to a bigger audience.
Absolutely.
So I was just excited to meet him, and he was just graceful. And that picture basically is a picture that almost everybody has. So you can go on everybody else's photo and you'll see the same picture.
Nope, I don't want to see it. Because it's like once you see this, nothing else is matched. He's in Dallas often. I know some people that sings background for him here sometimes and whatnot. But what I hear from the experience, once again, going back to that, is that he always leaves you feeling good. Those that have been working with him that I know, they always say that, like, man, he's just super duper down to earth, a good dude. Good level-headed, a living legend, I might say.
Yes.
He's definitely a living legend.
Definitely.
Orange Coffee.
I don't think he gets enough flowers, and it's because he's in the gospel genre, So I think that that's what it is. But he chose that road, It's funny because I have a literally, I say that in my song, I chose this road. As artists, when we choose a road, whatever that road encounters, whether it's the fact that you might not get the accolades that you think that you deserve or deserve, it comes with it. We choose to create something that makes us vulnerable to a people.
Yeah, and that's what you do as a gift, right? You give it to someone, and keep giving it. I'm loving it so much. You, the artist,
definitely.
Orange Coffee, keep giving it. But I want to talk about another living legend you're very closely working with, Beyonce Knowles Carter.
Yeah.
So let's go back to this because it's not who you're working with. And shout out to your bandmates, Ari O'Neil. She's a friend to the show. She's come on the show and she's talked about Beyonce and being on tour. Shout out to my crab brother, Chris Johnson, who's been on the show multiple times, who's also your bandmate. He's talked about the experience. But I often tell, and I have said to each of them, that it's not necessarily you're caught up with the legend. And my God, I know it's certainly humbling, but the talent that you must have to be on the radar of someone with the equal talent. So you deserve equally to be in this space. And so I go, oh my God. And so when I was able to see the Renaissance tour in Las Vegas, let me tell you, Chris said, bro, what are you doing? I said, I'm in Vegas. I'm going to see my girl Lunel tonight. He goes, well, I had tickets to the Renaissance. I was like, whoa. You got tickets to it right now. Doesn't happen often, disclaimer, people. But what happened was a moment and an experience. And so I got, and I'm showing some of the footage here, so close to see you do your thing on that stage, sis. And when I tell you, as I was saying before, rocking out moves is one thing, but you were so natural in the moment. And it's so funny you said that you were just moving like that because that's the energy I felt from you. And I'm just sitting there cheering my boy on, but I'm looking because as a saxophonist, I'm like, wow, look at this sister. Look at this woman just killing the game, enjoying the sax. And then I start to pull into your catalog. And this is not your first rodeo. You done been on tour and been in company with this living legend multiple times. So as I pause, because I want you to share with our viewers today, what's that experience like? How did it happen? Because you were teaching, you were doing some stuff in the classroom.
Like I said, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm 40.
Yeah.
So in 2006, when Beyonce decided to leave her male band, she decided to do an audition for an all-female band. That was June 19th of 2006. I remember it because it was Father's Day. And we went back and forth a couple of days. And I remember not thinking that I was going to get in. I had just had my son. My son was born February 12th, 2006. So I was thick. I was probably 240, 50 pounds. Now, for some people, that's not thick. But in the industry, that's thick. And I didn't think that I was gonna get it, but she picked me. I did the Beyonce experience with her after the
Nice.
Beyonce. So when she picked us, she said, I want to put y'all on retainer. Basically, she signed us to a deal to work with her indefinitely,
Wow.
and we did that until.
Nice.
So we did Beyonce experience. Then after that, I did I Am Sasha Fierce. Then after that, we did Mrs. Carter. We did I Am on the Run. I did the four. I don't even know what order now we're in, but did a bunch of
Yeah.
them. And then my dad got really sick, and I remember the On the Run tour was under the stage. And like I said, I'm a person that needs energy, and I don't do well under the stage. I know that this is
Yeah.
your show, sis,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody puts baby in the corner. Look.
And so you mean literally under the stage is where the band was?
On the Run, the first On the Run. If you go back and you check out the first On the Run tour, you don't see the band, but you only see the band for maybe one or two songs.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
Y'all are front and center now.
I'm sorry.
I said y'all are front and center now.
Well, we were always front and center when I got in the thing. And that was the first time that we were under the stage. And I was like, I can't do this. So my dad was sick. I was going through a divorce. And so it was time to take a break. And I had a 9-year-old son back then. And so I took a break. That was when she decided to do Lemonade. I didn't do Lemonade. And thankfully, she didn't have horns for Lemonade. And she called me back to do Coachella. I actually started the Coachella with her.
Sweet.
In November, did rehearsals. And then in February, she was like, well, I want to bring y'all out for 4 months. And I was getting my teaching master's. And I was like, my son is around 11, 12 at the time. I left for a reason. I left because I had to be present for my son.
Yeah.
I can't go. So I didn't do Coachella. And then she called me for the On the Run tour, which had a trillion horns on the stage and violinists on the stage, but I did not do that one. That's the only one that I didn't do that had instruments on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, I've now, fast forward, been teaching for 9, about to be 10 years. And I get a text message at 6 a.m. in the morning from her manager. I know you don't know me, but the boss would like to know if you would like to go back on tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was late to work that
So
day, right?
everything came back full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Everything came back full circle.
It took 9 years, and I always knew that stage was where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
But my son is first. As a parent, you have to make that decision. And I put him first, but I took on another love, which was teaching, and I was able to teach a lot of students in my community to play an instrument.
Dope.
That's dope. Yeah, that's dope.
A lot of them I still have a relationship with, which now that I think about it, I have to text Tiana, one of my students, texted me the other day, and I was in the middle of the studio session. But I have a relationship with my students still, even though I quit March 20th to go on tour March 21st. So to go to rehearsals March 21st.
Wow. Like
so,
the next step.
Yeah, that's how I got back. And yeah, it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh, this is Renaissance. It's great to be on stage with B, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's great. And in my head, I'm like, I've been doing this since 2006. And some of these people were born in 2004. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I've been doing this longer.
You watched her grow.
Exactly.
Yeah. You both grew. So speaking on teaching, so it's tons of little girls, little boys that are looking up to you on that stage, and they like, man, I want to be like her. I want to play like her. What are some, let's say, warm-ups or routines, different practice items you could give them to help improve their skills? Like what skills should they be practicing or
Before even
things
skills,
of
I would
that
say
nature?
things that some people take for granted is long tones. The
There
one
we
thing that
go.
people love about me the most, I would say, is my tone.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have dexterity. Am I the fastest player? Probably not. But my tone fills up for most of the battle. To get to the big stage, you don't necessarily have to play something at 350 beats per minute. It's playing it slow and it sounds good. And that's something that tell someone until you're blue in the face, but experience teaches that.
Got you.
Uh,
Long tones.
long tones. Like
Yeah.
holding that la until you can't, crescendoing la, all of that. How do you get into that? So long tones. Yes, skills, but it depends on what type of music you're playing, right? If you're playing the blues, then you need to know all your blues skills. If you're playing jazz, then you need to go into blues, whole tones, and diminish and all of that. So it's not that you shouldn't know all of those skills all the time. You should, but it just depends on what style you're going into and what you're focusing on. So I would say for the beginner student, focus on the most simple thing, because that's the one thing that you might be doing for the rest of your life. When I think of Beyonce, you think of what I play. Literally, what I play is ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da da ba. It's not feel it's not that. So how do I make ba ba da ba ba da ba? How do I make that sound good? That's that tone. It's tone, and it starts with that simple. Routine. I have ADD, so I've struggled with routine all of my life.
Understand that.
Really, really pushing yourself to try to have a routine every day is the end goal. So if you cannot do it, that's okay. What are you doing to try every day? So you didn't finish that today. What are you doing tomorrow? Did you write out the day before what you're doing? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
To fail, absolutely.
Yeah. If you don't know what you're going to do today, then you're not planning for a better tomorrow. Period. What are you doing tomorrow? If you don't know what you're doing tomorrow today, then you cannot tell me what you want to be in the future.
You definitely got to have a plan. I mean, the old saying is a goal without a plan is nothing but a dream. So you got to be thinking of something.
Yeah.
And you got to. And as I think of something, this is my last question. I'm sorry. I kept you past your time. But my last question is a legendary question, Orange Coffee. It's one I ask my Finessa. And once again, I want to say to you online, I thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with me and my special guest co-host, Teresa Millionaire, tonight. And we're rocking it out. Because again, as you talked about in this episode, doing so many things, done so many things, and things coming up, I want you to give your information about your EP before I get you up out of here. But my legendary question of the Finesse Media Podcast has been this since season 1. Is asking my guest Finessa, Orange Coffee, who's that person for you that's finessing the game? Who do you say, and who comes to mind when you say, yeah, that person is finessing it? Who's your person?
Victoria Monet.
Yay.
Oh.
Let's say it one more time, just in case somebody was getting a cup of coffee
Victoria
and they
Monet.
had to come back.
And I say that because
Victoria Monet.
She literally, her speech was everything for me. She came to LA 15 years ago. She is written for everyone. Like, think about it. I have been on the biggest stage. I've done the biggest things. But Orange Coffee still has to do certain things for Orange Coffee to become the artist that she wants to be. And Victoria Monet is that person that has put in the work, stayed with that work. I have a story about her. Actually, the house that I'm staying in is a friend's house that her family was part of her brother was part of the management team for Victoria Monet, and they needed a place. They didn't have, back in the day, they didn't have a budget to stay in a place, and their family hosted Victoria Monet, and she was so gracious. And every time I hear about her and what I see of her, I see her grace. I see her work ethic. She's a mother. She's a wife. Wow. She's a writer. She's still hot. I feel like she's still relevant. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, yeah, like she's a go-getter, and she's someone that's, you know, at 36 who wins Best Artist of the Year.
Yeah, she is dope.
Yeah,
she's finessing the game.
She is definitely finessing the game. And I'm not familiar with a lot of what you said. Like, people's like, yeah, she's been writing forever. And I'm like, well, you know, and I'm one that used to read the credits with the CD, you know, like Erykah Badu said, you can't roll up a blunt on a digital copy. So I used to get the digital. I mean, I used to go to Coconuts. I don't know if y'all had a Coconuts where you at, but some kind of place where you'll
no,
get
but we
had,
I know Coconuts. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
you can put on the headphones and look at the CD while you.
Yeah, I need all that. And so I used to flip through and see who all these people were on tracks and stuff, because I was just a nosy, inquisitive kid. So I didn't know Victoria Monet had this long history or this writing history and just even music in itself. So I am certainly on the bandwagon now. And so you're absolutely on target with that one as someone who's finessing the game. But Orange Coffee, before you get up out of here, you got one project you got coming out in about like 7 days, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I had an EP that came out last year. It was my EP under the name Orange Coffee. I just wanted people to know that I was changing my name. So there were 4 songs on that one. That one was Home. You had Never Thought. You had Make It Anyway. Who Knew? And I feel like there's one more on that one. And so this next album, it's an album, and you'll get to hear Orange Coffee. And I'm so excited because you're able to listen to the first single of the album called Listen. So make sure that you head over to Spotify, Apple, whatever your title, whatever is your music sound wave, go check it out. It has a little clip in the beginning that makes you think, but when it drops, it definitely drops, and it's a feel good. I think about Fantasia and her music when I think of that song. And then on March 15th, a week from today, I am dropping the next single, and it's called Want Me Back. And Listen is basically telling into somebody's feelings, and then Want Me Back is like, you know what? Since you didn't listen, now you over here wanting me back, but it's too late now, boo. It's too late. It's too late.
It's summertime too, so you probably dropping this, getting these people minds ready. You might be the culprit. Wait, they might be listening and coming back to you now. Orange Coffee. They're like, wait, it's the summertime too. You know, people getting up out the house and it's not cold anymore. It's like, you know, we can separate.
Listen, get up, put on your cute.
Tree's got some love going on in her background.
Oh yeah, it's love over here.
So I'm excited because this album. What I will say is that this album has Spanish songs as well. I'm dipping into that bag. Dope. I've always ran from my Spanish side, and I think that mainly is because I've always been that light skin Puerto Rican girl, and in my family I always was that Yankee light skin. So I've always tried to show how either Black or how hood and so now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't have to show that. Like, I am who I am.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. Yeah.
You don't know my roots, or if you don't know your roots, I don't know what to tell you. But it's not my place to show you that. Yeah. And so here I'm getting into that bag of my Spanish side and not being scared of it and not feeling like it attaches me to that. Like, I'm not trying to just be Shakira. I am a soulful singer. I come from listening to Salt and Pepper and listening to Aaliyah and listening to Jill Scott, even though my roots are salsa and old school big band, what I listened to and what I was recording in my little digital tapes, my 99 cents tapes that I was recording on and R&B. So I just want to show how the influence of everything kind of ties together in this one. So I'm excited for it. So check out Want Me Back March 15th, a week from today. And yeah, I'm excited. You're going to hear a single every month.
Okay. So
I'm
you just
waiting.
you giving breadcrumbs,
ready.
right? Oh yeah, I'm ready too. Because Listen does sound good. I love Listen and Want Me Back. I'm anticipating it, but I don't know. You might be breaking up some homes, Orange.
Want Me Back is good.
I'm not
She
trying
just
to.
has a
I'm
little
not trying.
snippet. I'm like, I need to hear
Sometimes you
it.
gotta get in your bag with that.
No, I got you.
I will say that the backgrounds for it, I go into this like George Clinton, like very guided, a lot of vocal, a lot of backgrounds. So the lead vocal is very like, I don't want you in my life when everything's back right. You can't do it. But the backgrounds are like, won't be back. It's like this, like gaudy, like heavenly, like it's funny. But I love it because, like I said, the bass line is also like these other songs that he's just going in right at the end. It's just is just like but it's like what? Like you just want to listen to the bass player. So I'm excited to hear all that delicious.
We're excited. And for people who are looking and been watching this episode and keeping abreast on the things she's been going or things she's got going, how do people keep up with the things that you got going? Let people know how they can find you.
Yes, please go on to my social media. I'm always on either Instagram, Orange Coffee Music, or on Facebook, Orange Coffee Music. My website is orangecoffeemusic.com. Go check that out. You'll see some of my new hairstyles. These new pictures are fire. I'm in my bag. Even though I'm 40, I'm feeling. It's funny because one of the things that B told me was like, you get 40, you get finer, girl. Don't you that girl. And so just feeling myself and feeling good at this age. It's like I do feel like a glass of fine wine. And I want y'all to see that and hear that. So check it out.
Orange Coffee, man, thank you so much for joining the Finesse Media Podcast Season 6 and helping us kick off Women's History Month, right?
Yeah.
So no better guest, no other woman to have as a saxophonist, a musician, a mom, and a chick that's just about her bag. I love it. I love it all. Orange, thank you so much for joining the Finesse Media Podcast. And my girl, Treese, same for you, girl. Thank you so much. We haven't done this in a while, so I'm so glad to have you on as a special guest co-host, my girl. And I see you rocking that Patrick Mahomes because she's from Kansas City, too. Shout out to y'all. Y'all definitely did that.
Shout out. Y'all did that.
We did it, didn't it?
Y'all did it.
Sam. Shout out to Sam.
Y'all definitely did it. But before we get up out of here, as you know, each and every week on the Finesse Media Podcast, we shout out our HBCUs. And this week, our HBCU comes from New Orleans, Louisiana. Shout out to Xavier University for being our HBCU of the week. And if you haven't caught an episode, I think it was season 4, we had 6 queens from Xavier University, and they're all doctors in their field now in the medical space. So check that episode out. But moreover, shout out to Xavier University for being our HBCU of the week. And as you know, also, the Finesse Media University still has the applications open. If you are a freshman entering into an HBCU this upcoming fall of 2024, you will want to get this scholarship for $1,000. Send an email to finessemediagroup@gmail.com and make sure you put in the subject title HBCU 2024, and someone will reply to let you know how the process goes. And you have up until March 31st to get those applications in, because we want to take care of some babies, right, Mama? We want to send these kids to school. We talked about you.
That FAFSA ain't like, if you order an extra topping, they'd be like, no, you can't get FAFSA. So y'all better get on to this scholarship.
That's what's up. Orange, you got to come back. You got to come back.
Please have me back.
You got to come back. All right, y'all. You've been watching another episode of the Finesse Media Podcast, Season 6. I'm your host, Ken Finesse Media, and I'll see you next week with something brand new. Peace.
This has been another edition of the Finesse Media Podcast. Join us again next week for the latest news from HBCUs. Special guest